A warm welcome to you this first day of April 2020. My name is Tracy Mokami. This is In Other News. Thank you so much for joining us, and I have my panel ready for you just to give you updates on some of the top stories happening in Kenya and across the world. Today we have Emmanuel Inonda. We missed you on this show. Hi.
Hi Tracy, how are you?
Fine.
I'm glad to be back.
Great.
Yes.
Keith Atito.
Pleasure to be here as usual.
And for the first time on In Other News, Zipporah Syokau.
Thank you so much, Tracy, for inviting me. I'm looking forward to the discussion today.
Yeah, great. At this point, we are still grappling with COVID-19, and just to look at some of the things that are happening in regards to this disease. Yesterday, the Senate had proceedings, and there were measures and resolutions that were put across just to be able to help the country deal with this disease that is crippling economies across the world. Liz Mutuku prepared a report, and let's look at that.
The committee resolved that the Senate shall yield the sum of Kenya shillings 200 million from our budget allocation in the current financial year 2019-2020 to aid in the efforts of the government in combating the pandemic.
Kiongozi wa wengi katika bunge la Senate Kipchumba Murkomen akiwasilisha hoja ya kuundwa kwa kamati maalum ambayo itajumuisha maseneta 7 ambao wanatarajiwa kuwasilisha ripoti yake baada ya siku 7, sawa na kuhakikisha kuwa wanawasilisha ripoti kila wiki katika bunge hilo la Senate kisha kuwasilisha ripoti kamili baada ya miezi 6.
Appoint the following senators to ad hoc committee: Senator Johnson Sakaja, CBS MP; Senator Michael Malinga Mbito MP, who is also the chair of the Health Committee; Senator Abshiro Soka Alake MP; Senator Mithika Linturi MP; Senator Eric Okongo Mogeni, Senior Counsel MP; Senator Architect Sylvia Mweni Kasanga MP; and Senator Muinyi Aji Mohamed Faki MP. And that the committee tables a progress report within 7 days, and thereafter tables a progress report on a weekly basis, and subsequent tables final report within 6 months.
Ni hoja iliyoungwa mkono na maseneta wengi, wakitoa wito kwa serikali kuweka mikakati kabambe, wakihimiza bunge la kitaifa kuchukua mwelekeo huo wa kuunda kamati maalum. Kamati hizi zikitarajiwa kufanya kazi pamoja kwa manufaa ya kuhakikisha kuwa mwananchi anapokea chakula, maji safi pamoja na mahitaji mengine wakati taifa linapopigana na corona.
That we have an upper house or a lower house, that Mr. Speaker, we have a more superior house, we have a more superior team than the other. We have just initiated a process. And we have said, Mr. Speaker, to our brothers in the National Assembly, so that we have one united, joint position on the issues that are affecting the people of Kenya, that, Mr. Speaker, we can pass together in form of legislation, or, Mr. Speaker, in form of a policy, Mr. Speaker. I requested that the leader, and I will consult with the leader of majority in the National Assembly, so that, Mr. Speaker, they can form a similar committee, Mr. Speaker.
Aidha, maseneta Johnson Sakaja wa Nairobi, Cleophas Malala wa Kakamega, James Orengo wa Siaya miongoni mwa maseneta wengine, wakitaka kuwekwa mikakati dhabiti kuhakikisha kuwa Wakenya, haswa wale wasiojiweza, wanapata chakula endapo harakati zote zitasitishwa nchini, almaarufu lockdown, kwa wakati wote ule ili kuzuia kuwepo rabsha.
Mr. Speaker, food. Nairobi, if the people of Nairobi cannot access food, they have no farms, they have no, in the rural areas, maybe you can get some maize, you can get some greens. In Nairobi, you don't have it. We need urgent food rations, Mr. Speaker. The supply chain must be secured. We've agreed on that, and we're holding a meeting soon, Mr. Speaker, and I hope this committee can do it with the leaders of these markets and the leaders of posho mills. We have 1,600 or so posho mills. I have the database, and we need to subsidize at that point.
Sio tu swala la chakula, maseneta wametaka kila kaunti kuongezea mgao wake, haswa katika sekta ya afya, ili kuwa na vifaa hitajika vya kukabili corona. Seneta Mutula akitaka kila kaunti kuwezeshwa kwa kupata vifaa vya kupima virusi vya corona, ikizingatiwa sasa ni kaunti 3 pekee ambao zina uwezo.
Speaker, I'll also want us to prepare for the worst. The Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Health, Mr. Speaker, has made projections that at the end of April, we might have 10,000 cases, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a point that we need to concentrate on and ask ourselves. I would like to encourage the ad hoc committee that is being formed. Kindly focus on the counties.
Only 3 counties in Kenya can do testing. Only. Certification can only be given to 3 counties: Kisumu, Machakos, and Mombasa. Why? Those are things that this committee must tell us.
Maambukizi ya korona yakiendelea kuongezeka kila uchao humu nchini, bunge la Senate na lile la kitaifa yanatarajiwa kuwa yakiandaa vikao vyake kila wiki kupitisha na kuweka sheria dhabiti zitakazowezesha taifa kupambana na janga la korona. Nikiripotia TV47, jina langu ni Elizabeth Mutiko.
I'd like us to look at some of the directives that have been issued. Emmanuel, you've been following up on this story?
Before they issued directives, these guys, people were complaining, where are our leaders? Where are they? They were taking selfies from their homes. We saw the other day Senator Haneri dancing. So these guys were, let's say, enjoying somehow, but they're not helping Kenyans. So after the uproar, they decided to come out and try to give us something just to close our eyes upon this thing, because you see they have taken 200 million from their annual budget of 2019-2020. 200 million shillings with this kind of virus, the way it's spreading, the way it's supposed to be contained, I don't think it's a good amount of money. But it was just among the resolutions that they were adopting yesterday. But we also saw there was a stiff opposition from other senators too. They were saying, okay, whatever Murkomen, the leader of majority in Senate, was doing is like an insult to the eyes of the Kenyans. So we saw the likes of Cleopas Malala, James Orengo, and other senators like Sakaja himself. They were saying we need to have, Nairobi is not like a rural area where you'll go to the posho mill, get some unga there, or go to the shamba and get some vegetable there. But Nairobi needs rationing. People need to be counted. Then we see the supply of food should start as soon as possible. If whatever the group that is going to represent the implementation are going to be adopted. They say that the leader of majority was saying that we need to, the committee will be presenting the report every week. And in Kenya with the reports, we've had so many reports since independence. So many of them, none has been implemented. So I don't think they are serious about this, but they are just trying to fool us, because they're saying after 6 months when the final report will come out. So 6 months, how many Kenyans will have suffered from this thing called coronavirus? So I think that's it, but they need to tighten up the belt.
Well, Nonda,
Yes.
if I may, I think we're still being a little hard on the government. Every parliament around the world is in session right now, and they're having to balance between the exposure and the time they're spending in parliament. And thinking of them setting off 200 million, it may be a drop in the ocean, yes, but it's a step in the right direction. Kenyans have waited to see an action from our political leaders, and this may be the first step. And to see that this is not only in the Senate, but it's going to be replicated also in the General Parliament.
National Assembly. Yeah.
Yes, the National Assembly. We're hoping that it will actually have a solid effect on the effects of corona on the people.
It's interesting to see the Senate actually following some of the directives that had been given earlier. The older guys who represent us in the Senate were actually not allowed. Zipporah?
Yes. Actually, I think that's a very, very good thing by considering the old men to stay back home, because we know that
they should stay back home permanently.
Yeah, they should stay back home because COVID, affects them. So I think it was just a good measure by the government to decide to do that. At least it's showing that we still have humanity despite all the bad news that happens within this country. We still have humanity, and I also recommend the fact that the Senate came out actually to have such proceedings and to plan committees to be able to address these issues. Because as my colleague Keita said here, Kenyans were waiting, they were asking, where are these leaders? We keep seeing Skype video calls from people in other countries. We see the President, US Trump addressing issues. What about our leaders? And so it was a very good thing to actually see them. And we are just hoping that it's not just a show off or, just a PR stunt. We really hope that something will come out of it.
And speaking of Skypes and video calls, President Uhuru, I think in the last hour has issued a statement via the internet, just trying to let people know on some of the updates. And we actually have 2 survivors, and because Kenyans are doubting Thomas, he says he says that these people will be, their names will be, the 2 patients that have already recovered from the disease will be their names will be put in public, and just let them come out and speak their story and experience. Do you think this is PR, or is it just trying to spread hope to the community?
Well, I'm hoping that their names are being published at their will, because medically and from a humanitarian perspective, it is very much their right to decide whether or not they want to go out in public. And part of that video call from the president is something that I think we need to share with African parents. A leader has come out to apologize.
For sure.
That is unheard of. It's new, you know.
And I'm sure it's coming from the pressure. It's coming from the pressure of the people. Guys were like, these people were infected. Where are the people who have recovered? How sure are we they really have recovered?
But you see, this thing of the president apologizing is not new. Last we saw there was this. Which was this? When the president was doing the set of address and he was apologizing for the injustices that were caused. Then where did the apology go to? He just went like that to a PR stunt. Today he was doing a video call apologizing to all the Kenyans for the curfew that was implemented in a way that people didn't expect it. So the reason why I say it's PR, why didn't they publish the names of the people affected? Because this thing is sweeping nearly everyone, doesn't select who is who. So they could have published these names, my name Emmanuel, your name Keith, Zippy, so that when I interact with people, people should know that, okay, I'm infected, I'm exposed, so let's try to be cautious about it. But when you publish my name saying that I have recovered,
I object.
What shows that I've recovered?
And besides the video calling, I think as journalists, as these people have already recovered, I think it's good for us to actually be able to meet those people. Like even if not get so close to them, but it will be good to at least be able to interact with them directly, even if it's via phone call. But we can see them, even if it's through a glass window somewhere. We're able to see them and actually
ni wale watu waliambia Yesu waguze so that they believe.
No, that was Jesus. Remember, that was Jesus.
Why I strongly oppose that,
this is Kenya.
I strongly oppose it. We have seen what happens when the public meet imminent danger.
Yes.
We know what has happened. We know the kind of stigma that people have had to suffer because of HIV/AIDS, because of cancer, because of multiple other diseases that have plagued humanity. Now, do we really want to expose people to this kind of scrutiny for the rest of their lives?
I
feel it's unfair.
So I think it actually is.
Coronavirus.
If it is of their own volition, then if they feel brave enough, and they'd have to go through thorough counseling to be aware of what you're about to do.
But I'm sure they cannot be exposed if they haven't given their consent. They must have given their consent.
You see, Kate, coronavirus is not like HIV, where the stigma will kill you.
Yeah, it's worse. You sneeze and people run away. Come on.
But even without publishing your name, people are still running away. If I sneeze right now in the studio,
if we run away from everyone, if you run away from me just because you know I have survived coronavirus, I feel objectified. I feel under the spotlight, and that's not fair. You see, let me give us a practical example. Every Saturday, our very own Leah Ngari hosts Saturday Confessions. All our guests have to understand that you are about to put yourself out in public to tell your story.
And this is not reversible, you know?
Exactly. Once it's out there, you can't take it back. It's a word. It's your face. It's your name. I would want to be certain. I want irrefutable proof that this person has consented to their name being published. Otherwise,
and that they actually suffered from this disease, because we are not putting it past this government to just bring random people and tell us.
Real people.
PR is very real. I think we have proven.
The reason why I say PR is very real, like right now, we only have 3 counties that can do corona testing. Why not 47 or 40? This thing is dangerous for all the counties in Kenya. That was among the resolutions that the Senate were trying, the other senators were trying to put in place to ensure that the counties they deduct some extra money to the health sector. Then the government facilitate with the testing kits for the COVID-19 virus. Not just talking on video. When
and a practice working from home, guys. You know, you have a hip president who tries
He's digital.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think let's look also at the emergency response fund that was set up by the president. And yesterday we spoke on some of the big names from the private sector that were able to just be on the board of this commission, just to be able to help Kenyans. But they ni harambe, eh? Sindio?
It says definitely.
The founding father told us it's pulling together. That's the only way Kenya gets from point A to point B. And his successor, the late President Moi, said tufuate nyayo. So, by the way, what was Kibaki's slogan?
Kazi iendelee.
Hiyo kufuata nyayo tu, hiyo kazi iendelee, kazi kufuata nyayo, eh?
And Uhuru's?
Uhuru. Oh, I don't remember.
We need to think of that. But anyway, yes, we as Kenyans, we have always pulled together. And so if it means everyone taking out that 10 shillings from the Mamboga and 100 million from those of us who can handle it, yes, let's get together. Let's do what we can.
Zipporah, I am really curious, yeah? Have you seen what exactly now this team will be tasked with?
I guess part of the item that I see that this team that will handle the emergency fund is probably to plan on how that fund will be used, especially maybe in terms of catering for food, because we know that we could have a possible lockdown. We don't know, but it is imminent, and therefore they'll be able to cater some of these issues like food rationing, and also be able to cater to provide some of the medical maybe equipment to counties so that they're able to do more tests on people. I think it's a brilliant fund. It's a brilliant idea. But the only thing that I think some of the Kenyans concern will be how sure are we? I have to be a little bit of a doubting Thomas in this place, because we know our country, and I'm not saying in bad faith, but yes, we might contribute as a country, as a nation. But how sure are we that this fund, that 100% will be used the way it's supposed to be used, or some of it will still end up in people's pockets? What assurance do we have? Because people are still hurting out here. The normal Wanjiku is still struggling to make ends meet, and here we need to contribute. And then who's contributing to our pockets? Remember, right now things have hiked, fares have hiked, rent, we're still paying rent. Everything is normal, but we just have to contribute more and more. So I think we need some sort of guarantee for the common Wanjiku. Needs to have some guarantee that the contribution we are going to give will definitely be used appropriately.
Emmanuel, your thoughts on the same?
You see, these funds will be used to do so many things, to buy the medical equipment, the food, the protective gear, the testing kits, among others. It's for our own good. But you see, this is Kenya. So many things do happen, especially when it comes to money and finances. Right. There's someone somewhere who thinks that he cannot be infected with the COVID-19, so he's waiting for that fund to come. Then you'll hear of after a few months, you'll hear of the COVID-19 scandal. Where so many patients will be languishing at Magadi and other facilities. There's no food, there's no testing kit, there's no enough beds, all that stuff. Yet there was money that was contributed. Then again, you need to ask yourself, people need to contribute this money. Yet you've locked them down. Some people do their businesses at night, but from 7 p.m. there's a curfew. So we are going to get that. We are going to generate.
I think it's important to note the kind of people who are put on this panel, on this board, yeah?
Yeah.
Sisi wanaitisha pesa.
I know. But at the end of the day, money will come out. But what will happen? There will be a COVID-19 scandal.
Inonda?
Yes.
Let me quote Honorable Kabogo. He was with us on Baraza La Siasa last week, and he said, "Cast are you if you do dare take this money." Because honestly, we know we are in a pandemic world over. How selfish, how evil.
And do you think our leaders are scared?
And that's why I say that's why cast
you guys
I'm African. You know I'm saying this. The first
How
time
many have they had before?
we had a corona outbreak, not corona, Ebola outbreak in Congo, down there. There are guys who went there as volunteers to help about the Ebola. There was the fund that was contributed, that was set aside for those guys. Do you know that they've never received a shilling? They went there, came back.
Let's leave.
So let's
leave other countries with their problems.
Guys came from Kenya.
Keith
They came
wants
from
to have
Kenya,
faith.
went to Congo.
Keith,
They went to
Yes,
Congo.
I like
imani
to-
isipokuwa na matendo,
You're
Keith.
living in an idealistic
No, no, no,
world.
I'm living
Be
in a
real, let's
hopeful
be
world.
real. Kenya is not
I'm living in
idealistic.
a hopeful world where
That's
Come
being
on, people.
idealistic. And you know,
And not to kill the hope that Keith wants to spread. Previously, we've had reports that the younger people and children are not affected by this disease, and we have actually seen the number of young people dying from COVID-19 on the rise. We have cases of children in Uganda. Akwaya in Uganda went, I think, for performances outside the country, and now the children are back in the country. They are experiencing these symptoms. Some have been tested and the tests have come back positive. Is it still the time to be hopeful, Keith? Ama we need to put full throttle all measures that we can find just to protect ourselves and our families?
there's a balance between hope and stupidity. There's a fine
Thank
line
you.
now you've
balance.
come to
All right.
What do you mean I'm counting myself?
Thank
I always walk that thin line of being hopeful for the best and not stupid to what is actually happening. So I wouldn't want anyone to assume that because it is said that a certain demographic are more prone to being exposed, that it limits who can be affected by the virus. Let us all take all the precautionary measures to ensure we're well.
and I think this has actually come as a shock to many people, because for a long time people thought that, you know, COVID-19 will less likely attack children, but we've seen it has now started attacking children. We've also seen there was the Kilifi cases as well.
Yes, I think that is something I'd also like us to really look at now from a broader perspective, especially because these children in Kilifi it has been a pattern, a trend for the last, I think, 1 month, Zipporah?
Yes, probably.
17 children have died out of pneumonia, and while we know that pneumonia is closely related to COVID-19,
Completely,
there have
right.
not been confirmations that, you know,
COVID-19
these
exposure.
children were actually suffering from this disease. But I think generally it's important to protect the younger generations as well. I think we've also seen cases of people who are in their prime ages who have tried to really help out the younger people. So if we have less ventilators, some of the older guys are saying, let us just preserve this for the children, and it will be
Sacrificial love.
interesting, yeah?
And
But you
actually,
see-
the question is, what if it's not really pneumonia cases? What if it's the government just trying to cover up? Because the symptoms
Wow.
exhibited, you know,
Wow.
dry cough,
Wow.
difficulty in breathing,
Really?
those are all, you
See,
know,
this thing of
COVID-19.
children,
What
Tracy,
if?
Yes, Emmanuel.
it was started by the Western countries. They started telling us, okay, this virus is affecting more older people
Yes.
than the children.
It was statistically proven.
Let me tell you, Kate, in Uganda, we have a 7-month baby infected with coronavirus. In Italy, you have a 101-year-old person who have recovered from the coronavirus. So don't you think it's irony? Kate, is it ironical? A 7-month-year-old,
I think
a
for that
7-month
one-
baby affected. Then in Italy, where there are so many deaths and infections of corona, 101-year-old person
Centurion.
has what?
Has
Has recovered.
You know,
So then it was a myth that was created, and it has put us into so much negligence. Or it was okay, all people will get corona, children won't, and the black people won't. Now you see the Africa map has now turned green.
And I really
Yeah.
want to encourage people, because I have actually seen in the estates, I don't know if you guys have, children are still going outside to play. And we know that these are some of the most vulnerable groups that we have. They do not know how to wash their hands as well as they should. Tafadhali tufungie watoto bwana.
Actually, I think parents are in a very tricky situation, because you see kids, you can't really hold them for too long.
You actually can. If you're given Zipporah the balance between your child living and locking them in the house, I will lock with 3 padlocks.
house.
It's a healthier
Yeah.
option. But
That's why you
Tracy,
need
must
a total
consider that
lockdown
we
of
don't
14 days.
come from the same backgrounds. There's some people living in very informal settlements. They don't have large houses where children can
You don't need a
run
large
around, you know,
house.
go to the playhouse. They don't know living room and which other room. Some people just live in a one-roomed house.
Come on,
How will you
Zipporah.
manage to keep them?
We
All
have
I'm trying
grown-
to say is, I'm not saying that they should totally leave the children to go out and play, because, you know, they're in danger of getting the disease. But they should just find a balance in a way.
Actually,
In
children are
such
likely to
situation.
spread this thing more than even the
Yes.
Yes.
the
I think
older
the
people,
only
because
children should go outside is to get a taste of the sun.
Yeah.
Like literally,
Yes.
go sit outside for 5-10 minutes
And
bask
come
in the
back.
sun,
They can't be
and then come
thoroughly
back.
locked into the house. You know,
I agree with you guys, and I think we will keep encouraging you at home and just the rest of the world to keep everybody safe, because at the end of the day we need to come out of this pandemic alive and well. Away from matters COVID-19, I am really glad that we are seeing the Kenya Ports Authority managers dance to the music that they have been setting themselves up to, because I think hii sio mambo ya kuambiwa pole. You put yourselves in this position. Yeah, unacheka. Uko na maoni? Uko na maoni, Emmanuel?
Yeah, last week the MD Daniel Manduku resigned.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and then he was replaced by, was he Mr. Rashid Salim? So today, was it today or yesterday? But it's still cooking. There are documents that are indicating that there was an overrun of over 1.5 billion shillings. You see, that's not 2 shillings, 1.5 billion shillings.
and that is just in one department,
Just
on repairs.
just one engineering, just one department. So what about the other departments? These guys, since they are rich, they'll be able to buy the law and they'll go scot-free.
This is true.
So Kenya will just continue that way. But
Emmanuel, it's interesting. I think previously we do not get people to do even probe these matters. I'm really glad that it has not stopped by the former MD resigning. That follow-up is actually being done, and I'm really looking forward to see if prosecutions will be made, if arrests will be made. And on top of that, we really have a big problem in this country where when arrests are made and the rulings we hear, hakuna mahali we hear this money is being recovered.
What will happen?
Because 1.5 billion is not a lot. Is not a small amount, as you guys say.
And they said part of the disciplinary action, if I remember, they said that they're going to be made to refund the money. I'm really waiting to see.
That has never happened in
if
Africa.
that is going to happen in this
I haven't
country.
actually seen it outrightly being done. I'm really waiting to
It
see.
has never happened.
Where has it been done, Kate?
In Kenya,
Where?
these guys of KPA,
Brother
Chelsea,
Patney.
these
When
guys
was
will-
that? Which
Keith,
year was that?
Keith,
Yes.
tell us.
year
Ebu
was that?
outline for us
Brother
on
Patney gave
camera.
back,
How much
Lyco-
money did Patney give back?
He gave back Lyco Regency.
Sorry?
He gave back the Grand Regency,
Grand
currently
Regency.
named Lyco Regency.
And
was
how
sold.
much? And how much money did we talk about losing? And how much money was actually?
I'm just saying
recouped?
money was given back. I'm not saying all of it.
That's what I'm saying.
We need to really look forward to
These
it.
guys of
Do you think
KPA,
that our current... the
these
current-
guys from KPA, they'll just go before the parliamentary committee, accounts committee. They'll be asked a few questions live on TV. They'll respond. Then after that, the committee will go. They'll bring the report after 6 months. The DPP will come with a few officers and media guys, arrest that guy on Friday. Then on Monday,
On a
Friday, early morning.
early morning,
around
on
7
Friday,
a.m.
he'll trend on Twitter. Then on Monday, he'll be granted 2 million
And we
bail.
actually have an in-house prophet, guys.
Yeah.
We will
On
be
Monday,
waiting.
he'll be
We
given
will
a
be
2 million
waiting to
bail.
see.
Then that will be the end of the 1.5 billion shillings.
And let's not
Yeah.
forget we
No,
have
Keith,
convoys of
Keith.
big cars.
Keith.
But I must admit,
No,
why is it so
Zipporah,
hard?
I think I'd like us to hold this thought. I think imekuwa moto sasa. Let us wait and see if the predictions of Prophet Emmanuel will come true. We'll be
From
following up on
experience.
that story
From
for
experience.
you. Remember to keep in touch with us. Call us via the numbers on the bottom of your screen. Interact with us on our social media platforms. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Since late last year, the coronavirus COVID-19 has emerged as a serious healthcare threat. This is an infection that has gone global and no one has been spared. The government, through the Ministry of Health, has put in measures to keep Kenyans safe against COVID-19, which is currently rampant around the world, with new confirmed infections and death cases daily. Such sanitization and screening of visitors at this border post and across every entry point in the country is very vital in preventing the spread of the disease in the country.
I'm very happy about the screenings that are going on in Tanzania and Kenya. I think it's very proactive that you're thinking about stopping it at the border so that it does not spread.
It is scary that a single cough here can lead to an outbreak of epic proportions. In order to prevent that, the government has instituted measures to keep Kenyans safe.
The facility has all the equipments you need, from handling a basic patient up to ICU setting.
However, you also have a role to play in preventing spread of infections.
Citizen responsibility is the key to the success of this initiative and these measures. Let's all do what we have to do individually. And this is how we are going to defeat this disease.
It's just our general hygiene, okay? And that now means at workplaces, we should ensure that our work surfaces are clean.
Always ensure that nimefanya proper sanitation ya mikono. Every time na board matatu, lazima ni sanitize mikono.
We have faced many severe challenges as a nation, and we have always found a way to rise above them. COVID-19 is no different, and we will overcome the pandemic. Stop coronavirus. Follow all directives from the Ministry of Health. Wash your hands properly.
Thank you so much for staying in other news. My name is Tracy Mokami, and to my favorite part of this show, where we let you tell us what is happening wherever you are. We like to look at some of the counties and some of the things that are going down. And I know in Bukusuland, Emmanuel.
Yes.
Mumekosewa bwana.
You see, let me tell you, in Bukusuland, normally these guys go for circumcision after every 10 years. So when you miss this year, it means that you'll have to go the 20th year. So this guy is
20th year.
The 20th year. So it's
so if right now
it's not good news for them. Yeah, but you know, but it's curbing the virus. You know, touching, all that stuff. So they're trying to stop the spread of the
usually
COVID.
a very colorful ceremony. This is not the time.
You'd rather go after 20 years than get infected with COVID. So I think it's a good move from the locals in conjunction with the immediate government down there. Yeah, it's a good move.
I agree with you. I think we have a caller on the line even before we move on. TV47, hello. TV47, hello. Hi, how are you?
I'm very good.
Thank you so much for watching. In other news, kindly tell us what is happening where you are. Where are you calling us from?
Calling from Ukunda.
Ukunda, amazing. Thank you so much for calling. So, what are the updates from where you are? What is going on? The government responses and how people are generally protecting themselves?
South Coast, most of Ghana closed down because of this epidemic that comes from Corona. There's a very great way. We are not getting in again. There are so many people losing their jobs. Yes, and the curfew is maybe for us because we can't work at night.
All right.
Most of the business are from 10 o'clock. Yes.
I think it will be just explain to us in terms of curfew. I know we have experienced police brutality in Mombasa. In the recent days, have the responses by the government improved? Are we still seeing brutality on the streets?
Actually, when you come to the hotel industry, they are being protected for us.
All right.
Because they are giving us ideas that we can be able to work as trade machines. They're taking care of us that we go safe.
All right.
But the people that are not working around the hotel industry are getting a very hard time to walk around, buy things at night.
All right.
So many businesses are from.
So you're telling us that in Mombasa, the hotel industry has actually been listed as some of the essential services?
Yes.
Ah, great. Okay.
So some of them have everything separated.
All right, okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for calling. That is Alex all the way from Ukunda in Mombasa. Keep watching TV47. Have a lovely afternoon. Guys,
Yes.
this is actually good news, yeah? That hiyo ukali ya polisi imepungua kidogo. The running battles have actually reduced. So the apology by the president might actually be genuine.
It might be genuine, but then again there was an outcry. The president could have apologized the following day, like the way Governor Joho did. I keep on saying this fear.
Lakini
Yeah, second
serikali
long.
ni moja bwana.
Yeah, second
Serikali ni
long.
moja.
Yeah, but you see that's the county government of Mombasa, where Joho was defending. Those guys are among the people.
Keith.
Wow. Okay,
Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm gonna run, Keith.
All right. No.
Allow
Bring
us.
the
Have you been
up.
tested?
Please, can I walk out? Get out of my life. No.
Keith, I hope you don't have a few
I
guys.
go into
I have
isolation.
observed all the necessary etiquette. I sneezed into my elbow.
Then you'll still greet us with an elbow, right?
Immediately,
yeah.
please go into isolation.
Keith, you're sneezing the elbow and then you'll greet us with the same elbow, right?
I'll go to the outside of my elbow.
But at
not
least
the
I'm 4
inside.
meters away from you, so I'm not worried.
I was supposed to have Skyped you today, but it's
Thank
all
God I'm
right.
1 meter away from you.
All
Like I'm more
right,
than
Keith,
a
Yes.
in other news, yeah?
In
In
other
other news,
news,
we
yes.
actually have another call on the line. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for tuning into TV47. TV47, hello. TV47, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How are you? Good afternoon.
Afternoon to you too.
I am really curious. Where are you calling us from?
Pardon?
Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling you from Embu.
All right, amazing. Watu wa nyumbani. I am really curious. What is the situation on the ground in Embu?
In regards to what?
Generally, in terms of COVID-19, the businesses, generally, mko aje huko?
The situation on the ground is bad. Like very, very bad.
All right.
Yeah, the corona thing has really messed our PSL very bad. Especially us that we rely on the state of Mogoka.
All right, okay. Tell us about that.
That's my attention.
You know, Mogoka, there's a lot of touching.
Yes.
A lot of the world.
Yes.
And basically, we chew, it's a social thing. So the chewers basically they go sit down somewhere socially and you don't keep distance. So number one, no one wants to socialize while they are chewing. So you either chew on your own or chew home.
Okay.
Secondly, with the corona thing and sanitization, so everyone is avoiding the league.
All right.
So there was contamination wise from harvesting, from packaging, then to Nairobi for instance, the Soko. I'm sure by the time it hears the person who's chewing the mirror, it will probably have passed through like 4, 5 hearts. So everyone wants to avoid that.
I'm really curious, what is happening with the prices, with people now avoiding actually consuming the product?
And this person I'm not even telling.
All right, you're
No one to buy.
okay.
You buy the who sells to who.
Yeah, true.
So as it is, I'm not even buying. So I'm just there. I'm harvesting and throwing everything away.
All right.
Because no one to buy, basically.
All right. I think these are some of the issues that we need to outline and help the people on the ground get answers for. Thank you so much for calling.
Very.
Zipporah.
Yes, I really feel for the business people out here. I really feel for them, and actually, the general public. Because you find, business is not going as usual, but still we still have to pay our bills as normal. Other companies are, or cutting their employees' salary by 20 to 30%. And this Uganda thing of people not paying rent, is it real, by the way? Is it a compound
I don't know it yet, but
thing?
No. Still on the Mogoka thing, it's caught my attention because I'm a realist, and so we know that Mogoka is not the only recreational substance out there, and a certain other recreational substance is also shared in communal. So I'd want to know if anyone is out there and you know what I am talking about. Yes. I want to know, are we still sharing? Are we still passing?
I think I'd like us, Emmanuel, to look at the seriousness of this thing. I actually come from Embu, and I know that communities actually rely on this product. So to hear that farmers are throwing away produce, this means these measures that the government is telling us that they are putting in place to protect businesses, what actually happens to the lowest person down there, that farmer who has harvested, who is throwing away produce? Because right now I know we have countries that have actually reduced
you see, Tracy,
imports and exports, and so these people, their products cannot be able to be distributed as well as they are used to. Yes, Emmanuel.
You see, Tracy, in 2013, 2014, around there, the UK banned Miraa in the UK. Then the only remaining option where these guys were exporting their product is Somalia. Then after the outbreak of the COVID-19, Somalia also banned the Miraa from entering Somalia. So these guys got no market. They have no market where to export this product because they had planted it on large scale, so for export purposes.
Yes.
But in Kenya here, guys cannot consume the
amounts that are in the market.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, the caller actually told us.
Yeah.
People are also afraid because of the handling process.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the harvesting, the packaging,
you see,
the
you can't sanitize Miraa.
I saw memes online. People were saying that you dip the produce in alcohol.
One thing that I appreciate from this Corona thing is that it's teaching us, what we can live without, what we can live with.
Yeah.
Did people really know that they could actually stop using Miraa? That's a good lesson.
That's a good lesson. Health-wise, it was bad.
Yeah.
You see, people are not also they're just looking at the profit margins that Miraa was creating, but
they
also
look at the
health
pleasure
of the guys.
giving them.
But now they have lunch, they can live without
I think let us not look so much towards the health. If we start that conversation on health, we use cooking oil. It's not as healthy as we would like to assume every day,
Let me tell Keith that Miraa, you cannot consume it the way you can consume unga, and everyone consumes unga like Miraa. So I think, just like Zipia said, it has given us a chance to know what you can stay with and without. So
I am really curious.
I feel sad for them.
Kama mboga ya ugali?
I feel not really.
Maybe Embu people. Maybe Embu people can do that.
I feel sad for them,
I'm sure.
but one of my English teachers told me that no pain, no gain. So it's time to pain as they strategize on what next they can engage into other
people to cope
type
with,
of farming.
People to cope with what they have. You remember during the famine times in Ukambani, people said, Kamba people, now I'm from there, so I must talk about this. It's Kamba people are eating mangoes, they are boiling mangoes. So if you can cook your Miraa, well, okay.
Then well and good.
Before we even delve further into this, when we talk about the essential goods and food stuff, the government has actually said that we are going to be importing 4 million bags of maize. Is it, continuously we are told to diversify our farming and look for these new things that we can be able to plant that will be able to give us results and good produce, but is it really time to tell farmers to stick to farming of this essential? Because I feel like Kenya, coming from a country that we say we are really based on agriculture, this perennial problem with not having maize also, kwani tunakulanga mahindi pekee?
Yeah, this thing of importing maize, I'm still on the neck of the government, though Keith will still defend it.
No, this one I'm with you. I'm with you on this
Government
one.
spokesman at
Yeah. Until I get a salary from them, I'm not taking up such a role.
Tracy was their spokesman last week, but now she's changed the tune. She's now with the Mwananchi. So this thing of importing maize, you see, a few months ago, there were a lot of maize. Others were rotting. The government couldn't buy from the farmers at even a lower price. But right now they want to import maize from abroad so that they can cash in something small. The issue of maize is not new to Kenya. The maize cattle have been there since the day when DP Ruto was the Minister for Agriculture. Even the other day we saw Kinjuri when he was the Minister for Agriculture, and we've had so many scandals of maize. Then again in Kenya, we have so many. We can produce maize that can last us for seasons. But what will the government do? It will come with a cheap price so that you can reject it. Then it will import the maize as the maize rots in the silos. We had the Galana Kulalu irrigation scheme. Eugene Wamalwa was giving us a lot of hope, but when you went to the ground, you find that you've used so many billions to get few millions. You see, that still failed. So in Kenya, I don't know who is the think tank of the government. I don't know if Keith is one of them, but these guys are just doing bogus things.
Low blow.
I am feeling attacked.
So these guys, I think, they are not doing. It's just a highway to create to get more.
I'm really curious. At the end of the day, all this wealth that these people want to amass. Itaishia wapi?
See, right now they are hiding.
That's a good question.
They are hiding. Right now, no one is contributing or donating the billions or the millions, few millions he or she has. But come 2022, when there will be more coronavirus, these guys will print T-shirts, millions of T-shirts,
and dish sugar and unga.
Yeah, everything.
And this is actually the time to do those things.
Yeah, this is the time to do those things to rescue yourself, so that come 2022 will still be there breathing.
I actually agree with you.
Yeah.
And
so, Keith, tell your people.
Which people?
The people you represent.
If I may, on the maize issue, every time I see us importing some of the things that comfortably grow locally, it baffles me. I don't understand us importing sugar. I don't understand us importing maize. I don't understand us importing eggs. Good God, why are we importing eggs? It doesn't make sense.
And we have so many.
I think the cost of production for the farmers in this country is really high, and these are some of the things that prevent the farmers here. Because, for example, we import eggs and milk and other products from Uganda here.
We know a certain conglomerate that owns, I don't know, 90% of the milk in Kenya. Why are we?
And actually, many local farmers are crying for what is happening. They have produce. They produce, if it's the eggs from their hens, if it's the farm produce, but they can't even find the market to sell, and yet we keep on importing.
And the market.
But you know why the farmers?
Some of the things that the government is saying, to be able to cushion farmers from the influx of this maize in the country, because this maize is way cheaper than the cost of production for farmers in this country, we will actually tax 14 to 16%.
In short, make everybody else's lives more expensive, so that you can run a more expensive endeavor. I'm trying to understand. This is carrying yourself in your own bucket. Insanity.
You see, the
definition of insanity.
The politicians we do elect are the ones that are causing the farmers trouble, because a politician will always want you to remain a slave so that he or she can depend on you.
And this is very true. And I'd like to encourage Kenyans moving forward. We have seen the kind of leadership from other countries now that the world there's just a spotlight on specific countries in the world, and just seeing other government responses that will be more responsible in our voting moving forward, not just vote for someone who brought you unga once.
Exactly.
We need someone who will enable us to be able to find
because that bag
solutions.
Of unga will cater for 5 years. That guy is there in parliament, then he'll bring another bag of unga.
I know.
As the trend continues. So
I think
when you depend on yourself, the politician's life is in trouble. Because you can depend on yourself, so there is nothing that you can use to sway you away from.
And I think when we put our leaders to task now for what they are actually employed to do, which is to create policies, ensure that we have the right laws to guide this country, I think we'll be at a better place. And Keith, I want to engage you on what's trending, because wewe ndio uko digital, wewe ndio tupeleke na rieng. What is going on the internet?
Well, on the internet, first of all, this is the first April Fool's Day in the world where we will not be doing any jokes. We'll not be pulling any pranks because it's the world over. We're not feeling it. We're not feeling the vibe.
I know.
Unless someone can, I don't know.
No, I don't know. Mpaka Kenyans wameshindwa kunini?
The memes.
No one has. I have followed up. There have been no jokes, no pranks, nothing.
Maybe as much as it has been in the years past.
Kate, you're not on air.
What do you mean I'm not on air?
You're not on air.
Really? Really? Wow.
I wish you didn't tell him earlier. Like, you'll have just waited and then we can see what he will do.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
okay,
now go on.
Now eat your words. Now eat your words. Because there have actually been jokes this April.
Good try.
That's one point.
I've had to check multiple cameras.
It's a good execution, not a trial.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Kudos
For
to you.
sure.
Yeah. Also, there's a fascination called Sonko Malong.
Yeah. Guy, hiyo ni kupigwa ngoto. Like what?
It reminds me of Idi Amin. Sonko Malong. You know, it's Idi Amin when there was no money in Uganda. He told the guy in charge of the treasury to print more money so that more dollars, even if they are fake, but as long as they look like dollars, so that he can have more money. But we are seeing the replicate of Idi Amin and Malong. Yeah, you see, he had a war with David D, who is an economist. I think you are following that trend.
So David D, I think, issued him a certificate from the David D University. I'm not sure how to it is.
You have been schooled.
Yes, you have been schooled in matters economics. David D School of Economics.
I'm still trying to get this Sonko Malong thing. Can you please try to elaborate it more? I'm still trying to get the gist of it, really.
So this is what happened, yeah? David Ndi. Doctor. Hey, before he comes for me, oh my gosh, I cannot.
I am a stickler for that. Doctor, do not believe that capacity.
He economizes you.
Or before I am economized, I don't want. Keith,
yes.
if there will be stones thrown, let it be at you. So tell us. So what happened between him and DKB?
Yeah.
Well, I am yet to get all the facts as at now. However, I think we'll give you guys a short video, and for that short video, you should look out for TV47 KE, TV47 Kenya on Facebook, TV47 Kenya on YouTube. We'll be giving you a short video to give you an in-depth explanation on the Sonko Malong phenomenon. Also, at TV47 KE on Instagram. Don't miss out on that.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Sonko Malong was trying to pull a Jirongo. Do you know what Jirongo did?
What did Jirongo do?
Few years back, he decided to print 500 notes when Moi was still in power.
And hope to give people with it.
He was dishing it out. In fact, the 500 note was nicknamed Jirongo before it lost value.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That is where that came from.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what
Malong. Certificates.
Some of you are old though.
You have schooled us.
Yeah.
Some of you are old. In order.
Guys, so Keith will be following on that for you on our social media platforms. You also know that your Pastor Nganga is always trending. I don't even know what to say at this point.
It's general.
I'm a trend, trend tena. He's trending. He will trend again someday.
Today, I won't talk about him because he always have guys who keeps informing me.
I know.
So I don't want him to pull something on me.
Why not?
When he strikes,
why not? Are you worried?
When Nganga strikes,
are you scared though?
Forget about those things that those evil spirits that he normally.
Some of these people actually have Twitter armies. Keith,
yes.
They actually have huge followings on social media, and one small slip of the tongue, my friend, the
allow me to draw
that will be coming at you.
Let me draw two of them.
Comedy sells in Kenya, so if you're a comedian,
he's a comedian.
People will follow you. He is a comedian.
It's okay.
People love that.
So, Pastor Nganga, in the wise words of Miguna, come baby, come. And with that, I am out. Thank you very
Throw
much.
something at him before he comes. He can't come without you throwing something.
guys, I think it's important that we ask you to follow us on our social media pages. This conversation will be going on. We will be highlighting some of the things that are happening, things that are trending, also things that you're telling us from where you are that are happening. This has been In Other News. As we wrap up the show, I'd like to leave you with this trending video that we found online. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. My name is Tracy Mukami.
It's not a
See you
Fool's Day,
tomorrow.
right?
What are you saying, Emmanuel?
I'm saying I hope it's not the trending video is not is it about Fool's Day?
About
because
what?
the whole of
April Fool
this afternoon.
No.
Kate was not on the show. We just realized it a few minutes ago.
We're not.
Ni saa 8 na tuko hapa Koinange Street. Na wako. We! Mko wapi?
Ndio kale kamoja.
Ndio kamoja, twende. Kale, kuja. Wewe, kuja. Wewe kuja. Come. Kuja. Kanaenda woi. Aki corona woi.
Hakuna kingine.
We! Simu kuje. Hatuna corona.
Muko.
Ni saa 8 na tuko hapa Koinange Street. Na wako. We! Mko wapi?
Ndio kale kamoja.
Ndio kamoja, twende. Kale, kuja. Wewe, kuja. Wewe kuja. Come. Kuja. Kanaenda woi. Aki corona woi.
Hakuna kingine.
We! Simu kuje. Hatuna corona.
Muko.
The best way to stop any viruses from spreading is by washing your hands.